A few years ago, I was attending a local festival when I felt something snap. To my horror, I realized it was my bra strap, and I immediately started to look for a way to make a discreet exit. I quickly ducked into a nearby alleyway, hoping to find a quiet place to fix my wardrobe malfunction. As I walked deeper into the alley, though, I noticed that the light seemed to dim, and the air grew colder. I shrugged it off as my imagination and continued walking, but the feeling of unease only grew stronger. Suddenly, the alley opened up into a large, empty field. The festival sounds had faded completely at this point, and all I could hear was the sound of my own breath. I turned to go back, but the alley was gone. In its place was a dense forest, the trees so thick that they blocked out the sun. I started to panic, my heart racing as I stumbled through the undergrowth. As I walked, the forest seemed to change around me. The trees grew taller and the air grew colder. I could hear whispers in the wind, and the rustling of leaves sounded like voices. Eventually I stumbled into a clearing, and there, standing in the center, was a figure. It was a woman dressed in a long flowing gown. Her face was obscured by a veil, but I could feel her eyes on me. "Welcome," she said, her voice like the rustling of leaves. "You have entered my realm. You may leave, but you must leave something behind." I started to back away, but the forest seemed to close in around me. I felt a tug on my heart, and I knew that I had no choice. "Take it," I said, pulling out a small ornament I had brought at the festival. I handed it to the woman, and she took it, and then I felt a weight lift from my chest. Then I turned and ran, not daring to look back. The forest seemed to open up before me, and I found myself back in the alleyway. I ran until I reached the safety of the festival, my heart pounding in my chest. I never told anyone about that day, but I always felt a chill whenever I passed that alleyway. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't had anything to give that woman, but I'm just glad I didn't have to find out. A few years ago, I decided to get back into the dating scene, and I let things get to the point where I was in a rush. My date was in an hour, and I still hadn't found the perfect bra to go with my new dress. So, I went to a nearby department store, hoping to find something suitable. The store was dimly lit, with racks of lacy bras and panties lining the walls. I quickly found a few options and made my way to the fitting room, but as I was about to try on the first bra, I heard a faint snap. "Oh no," I whispered to myself, as I realized the strap of the bra had broken. I tried to think of a solution, but my mind was blank. I couldn't go on my date with a broken bra strap. Suddenly, I heard a noise behind me. I turned around, expecting to see someone, but the fitting room was empty. I shook my head, telling myself it was just my imagination, but then I heard it again, louder this time. I opened the fitting room door, but there was no one there. I took a deep breath and tried to calm my racing heart. I told myself I must be imagining things. But as I turned back to the broken bra, I saw something out of the corner of my eye. A shadow was moving along the wall. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. "Hello?" I called out, my voice shaking. There was no answer. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, shining it around the room, but there was nothing there. I was alone. I took a deep breath and tried to focus on fixing the bra strap. I found a safety pin in my purse and managed to secure the strap temporarily. I quickly tried on the other bras, but none of them were right. As I was about to leave the fitting room, I heard a soft whisper. "Get out," it said. I froze, my heart still racing. I turned around one more time, but there was still no one there. I ran out of the fitting room, out of the store, and into the safety of the crowded street. I never went back to that store, and I never found out what was in the shadows that night. But I always wondered if it was just my imagination, or if there was something more sinister at play. I had been working at the bra factory for a few months now, and I still couldn't get used to the monotonous routine. Every day was the same: check the straps, adjust the cups, and package the finished product. It was mind-numbingly boring, but it paid the bills. One day, as I was inspecting a batch of bras, I noticed that the straps were breaking more frequently than usual. I knew I had to find a better material to ensure the quality of our products. So, I made my way to the stockroom, hoping to find something suitable. The stockroom itself was dimly lit and rather eerie, with rows upon rows of shelves filled with various materials. I started searching through them, but everything seemed to be in its place. I was about to give up when I noticed a small, unmarked box tucked away in a corner. Curiosity got the better of me, and I opened the box. Inside, there was a strange, shimmering fabric unlike anything I had ever seen before. It seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, and I couldn't resist the urge to touch it. As soon as my fingers grazed the fabric, I felt a jolt of electricity course through my body. Suddenly, the room seemed to grow darker, and I heard a low growl coming from behind me. I turned around slowly, my heart pounding in my chest, and there it was. A monster, unlike anything I had ever seen before. Its body was twisted and malformed, with limbs that seemed to stretch and bend in impossible ways. Its eyes glowed a malevolent red, and its mouth was filled with rows of razor-sharp teeth. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The monster tried to lunge at me, its claws looking as though they could tear through my flesh as if it were paper. The creature was powerful, but at the last moment I managed to find something to help me. A bra. I managed to swing it and tangle up the monster's claws. Something about how the monster was built made it lose its balance, tumbling over. This was my chance. I ran out of the stockroom like there was no tomorrow, closing the door behind me and locking it tight. I ran to get some of my coworkers, and though at first they didn't believe me, eventually we heard the monster banging against the door and growling. The military came in, along with some scientists, and somehow they got the monster out of there. What happened after that, I have no idea. I quit my job at the bra factory the next day. I just couldn't force myself to go back there. But still, I have to wonder, what would that monster have done to me if I hadn't had that bra to defend myself?